Okay. Okay. Well, that took a little bit of doing. Good morning. Um, I have been, oh my goodness, with the tech issues. So technology and I have an evolving relationship. This morning has been full of them, but we have made it work. We are here now. Welcome to the Witches Rambles. This is episode 2. We're going to talk about the magic in 2 minutes today. I'm going to share a little bit about my story and how 2 minutes really was the start of everything changing. Um, so I am Krista Marie. I am the witch on Widow Point. I am an oracle, a teacher, and a healer. And I am so happy to be doing this series of the Witches Rambles with you. Today, like I say, we're going to talk about the magic that is in 2 minutes. So, very often, if you've ever read or watched any movies that involve time travel, everyone is always really concerned about doing something small that is going to cause a really big impact in the future. In these books and in these movies, people are really, really careful about not doing something that is going to have some small thing, some small random moment or conversation or small thing that makes a massive change to that future that they have left. And 2 minutes really can change our lives. We tend to dismiss small things, small moments. And because as humans, we're really, really good at complicating things. We tend to think that simple things don't make a big difference. We tend to think that simple things won't change anything. And so we don't do the small things. We don't take the small moments. And for me, 2 minutes really began changing my life, changing my body. And, this was back in 2008. And my now ex husband and I had just moved back to Nova Scotia from Alberta. And I hadn't worked in a while. And with this move, it was, once we got back and got settled into an apartment, it was time for me to start looking for another job, start looking for a job. But I wasn't well. I have had a fibromyalgia diagnosis, and I was living in a lot of pain. And so I started doing small things. I actually used TV commercials as my timer. And I'm going to date myself a little bit, but if you remember Chuck Woolery, he used to have a show, and before breaking for a commercial break, he would say, we'll see you in 2 and 2. So 2 minutes, 2 seconds was the format of a commercial break. So I started off using those 2 minutes to do things. So I would get up, watching, I would have a show on the TV, and when the commercial came on, I would get up. And for that 2 minutes, I would wash a few dishes, I would gather up laundry. I kept myself to that 2 minutes so that I would work and do things for 2 minutes, and then I would rest while the show was on. So this is how I started to build strength and resilience, is doing it in small little bites in 2 minutes. And this 2 minutes is what started me off, like I say, on building that strength and resilience. A lot can change when you do 2 minutes consistently throughout the day. And it's really hard to walk away from a sink full of dishes, when you've only done, say, five, a few cups or bowls or whatever in a short period of time. But just because you walk away from something after 2 minutes doesn't mean that you're not going back to it, right? So doing this process in pacing myself, in managing my energy, listening to my body, but also wanting to build the strength and build the resilience. And it was 2 minutes at a time that allowed me to do this. And it really makes such a huge difference. 2 minutes is a lot longer than you think. Once you start using the magic of 2 minutes and doing 2 minutes at a time, if you do this, 10 times throughout your day, you've done 20 minutes today of things that you've been wanting to do or needing to do that you weren't able to do yesterday. And, over time, you can expand your 2 minutes to 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But it's listening to your body and understanding and knowing that even though it doesn't seem like that 2 minutes is making a really big difference from one day to the next, after a few months and going forward after a few years, you'll realize that that 2 minutes made a difference. 2 minutes is what will get you started in changing your life, in supporting your body and healing. And this is a little bit more of, that mind body connection that we talked about last week. And so when we listen to our body and we do things in small bites, we're connecting with our energy, we're connecting with our body, and we're able to use that 2 minutes to really create magic. And, after a period of time, that 2 minutes became 5 minutes, became 10 minutes, but it created this space where I allowed myself the grace to do things in small bites, understanding that a lot can change in 2 minutes, a lot can be done in 2 minutes, a lot can be said in 2 minutes. And we're going to talk a little bit about some different things that you can spend 2 minutes on that can help you change your life. There is so much magic in the little things, in those baby steps. The how is in the baby steps that we take every day. And even if you start off and you do 2 minutes 5 times a day, that's 10 minutes today that you didn't do yesterday. And you start to see things changing. You start to see things in your environment. You start to see things being completed. And even though it takes longer than we want it to, we tend to like instant gratification. We tend to like things to be quick. And it's just not always the case. Some things are quick and easy and big changes, but sometimes we need more time, and allowing ourselves the grace of that time and allowing ourselves the grace of doing things in small bits, because the small bits add up, right? The baby steps add up. And so as you do these 2 minute practices, um, you will start to feel shifts in your body. You'll start to feel shifts in your mind, in your spirit, and it will really move you forward, especially if you're at the very, very beginning of your healing journey. 2 minutes can get you started, and 2 minutes is magic. So, some of the things that I wanted to share with you is, one is the pacing, is using a timer, whether it's TV commercials, whether you set a timer on your phone, or just, take note of, okay, so it's 11:30 and I'm going to do this for 2 minutes and then I'm going to rest. And just continually doing those little bits of 2 minutes through the day. These help you to build strength and resilience. If you're going to run a marathon, you're not going to go out on day one and run 26 miles. It's just not reasonable, if you've never run in your life, to expect yourself to be able to go out and run 26 miles on day one. When you're preparing for a marathon, you look at your diet and you make small changes there. You start with maybe walking a few kilometers, and then you start walk a bit, jog a bit, walk a bit, jog a bit. And so that you build up that strength and that endurance and that resilience over time. And then after 6, 8 months or a year of training, then you go out and you run your 26-mile marathon, right? We don't have to be at the end. We start where we are. And giving yourself this grace will give you a shift in your mood. Giving yourself this grace will give you a shift in your attitude. And that is where motivation comes from. And motivation comes from action, not the other way around. We don't take action and find motivation. Sorry, we don't get motivated and then take action. It's taking the action that fosters motivation. So as you do this pacing and you to use these 2 minutes, then you'll find yourself motivated to do it more and more and more. And allowing your body the grace to rest in between is without pushing yourself into that state of having to do it all and pushing through. And, one of the things that is really common for those of us who have experienced and lived with fibromyalgia is, we'll have a good day and then we do all the things. And then we end up paying for that for a week. Whereas if on the days that we feel good, we continue with the pacing and still doing the little bites, we'll get more done and we will build the strength and resilience we need to be able to do more. So then we end up having more good days. And it all can start with 2 minutes. So I invite you to give a 2-minute timer a try. If you're living with chronic pain and chronic fatigue, giving yourself the grace of just doing something for 2 minutes and then resting for 5, 10, half an hour, and then another 2 minutes. This is going to help your body build strength and build resilience as you continue to do this over time. When I first moved here to the end of the earth, winter prep was a thing, stacking wood is a thing. It's every year, it's a thing. And at the beginning, I could only do 5 minutes at a time. It was, stacking wood is a very heavy task. And so I would set a timer and I would work for 5 minutes and then I would rest for half an hour. And then I would do for 5 minutes and then I would rest for half an hour. And as you do this, you start to recognize when your body has had enough. And so, maybe there was only 3 5-minute bursts of activity in those early days. Now I can stack wood for 45 minutes and not blink an eye. And, I do still rest after that period of time because it is in the rest where our bodies heal. That is where we build the strength and resilience. So then you start to have more good days and you're not pushing yourself and overdoing it on those good days. And it makes a dramatic difference in your body's ability to heal and, like I say, build that strength and resilience that we want. And again, as humans, we want the instant gratification. We want it now. And it's taken me a long time to get to the point now where I can stack wood for 45 minutes, or I can run errands for a few hours and not be shut down for days afterwards. It's a beautiful thing and so grateful for it. And it all started with 2 minutes commercial breaks. So I invite you to give that a try. Some other things that you can do in 2-minute time frames that can help shift your energy and help you build strength and resilience from a mental and spiritual perspective is 2 minutes of gratitude. 2 minutes of gratitude can really lift your mood. And you can do this in a lot of different ways. Magic footsteps, walking and saying thank you with each footstep, and doing this for 2 minutes out of your walk, doing this as you walk around your house, and doing it for 2 minutes will lift and elevate your mood. If you try this, I would love to hear. Just take note of how you feel before you do it. Take those magic footsteps, thank you with every footstep for 2 minutes, and your mood will shift and elevate. It's a really beautiful thing. Your energy will shift. Your body will feel better when you do 2 minutes of gratitude. There's also 2 minutes of forgiveness meditation. And this is such a powerful tool. And it again, it's one of those tools that will shift your mind. And as you shift your mind, as you elevate your emotions, as you elevate your energy, that impacts your body as well. Your body will feel better, your body will feel lighter. And so, with a 2-minute forgiveness practice, it's closing your eyes, envisioning who it is that you feel you need to forgive, whether it's yourself or someone else, a situation, and allowing yourself to forgive that person or yourself. And as you breathe and exhale, allowing yourself to, feel whatever emotions come up, whether it's anger, whether it's resentment, whether it's frustration, disappointment, and allowing yourself to feel that. And then as you're exhaling for these 2 minutes, releasing all of those feelings and emotions and allowing them to move through your body. Emotions and moving through them is something we're going to talk about in a future episode, because we are meant to feel all the things. I don't term any emotion as negative, because they're not. Emotions are just emotions. We're meant to feel all of them, and we're meant to move through them. They're not meant to be stored in our bodies. So, 2 minutes of a forgiveness meditation where you release these emotions that you're holding towards this person, whether, like I say, whether it's yourself or another or a situation, and allowing that to move out of you with your breath, right? We talked about the breathwork bridge, and our breath is an amazing tool. And so, using your breath in combination with a forgiveness practice will help move that energy out of you, and you will feel lighter afterwards. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. 2 minutes. There's so much magic in 2 minutes. I love the small things. I love the small steps. And I still do this every day. There's small little 2-minute practices, 2 minutes of mindfulness, paying attention to the water when you wash your dishes, how it feels, how it sounds, the soap bubbles, the feel of the sponge or the cloth, and really paying attention and being mindful for that 2 minutes. Huge energy shift in your body. Breath work. Breath work for 2 minutes, focusing on your heart space and breathing into it for 2 minutes will open up and elevate your energy around your heart space. 2 minutes of breath work into your belly will, paying start to recognize when you're breathing high up in your chest, right? Because that is a sign of being in the fight or flight state of your nervous system, which we all live in so much of the time. And so many of us are chest breathers. So, taking 2 minutes to focus on your breath and deepen it so that your belly rises and falls like it used to when you were a baby, before we get all keyed up into this fight flight state. And, if you've ever watched a baby sleep, their belly rises and falls because they are breathing down into your belly, breathing down into their belly. And so, taking 2 minutes to focus on your breath, bring it down out of your chest and down into your whole torso, into your belly. This 2 minutes can help you connect with your body more deeply, connect with your breath more deeply. And as we breathe deeper, it calms our nervous system, it calms our vagus nerve, it balances it, right? It brings it into a functional activation as opposed to being completely dysregulated, right? So that's where the 2 minutes, paying attention, recognizing when you're breathing high up in your chest and deepening that breath down into your belly for 2 minutes. And you can do this anywhere, anytime. You can do this in the grocery store if you notice that you're starting to feel a bit anxious, if it's a bit overwhelming. Lights, people, activity, as highly sensitive people, it's a lot to process. And so, recognizing that, hey, I'm breathing high up in my chest right now, and just taking that 2 minutes to pay attention to your breath as you walk through the aisle and bringing your breath more deeply down into your belly. that 2 minutes will help calm your nervous system and make that shopping excursion a whole lot easier to manage. Another thing that I'm giving you a lot of tools here. So, another thing is 2 minutes of mirror work. And I'll tell you, 2 minutes, if my medical transcription work has taught me nothing else, it's how much can be said in 2 minutes. And you can really give yourself one heck of a good talk in 2 minutes. And so, doing this in the mirror for 2 minutes, talking to yourself like you would your best friend who was having a rough patch, 2 minutes of encouragement and support and positive talk. You know, telling yourself, I'm so proud of you for getting through today. I love you. I am grateful for you. Whatever words you need to hear, saying them to yourself, but doing it in the mirror, looking yourself in the eye for 2 minutes can you can say a lot to yourself in 2 minutes, and you'll walk away from that mirror feeling brighter and lighter and more cared for, right? We need to do these things for ourselves. And doing 2 minutes of mirror work, talking to yourself, even if you stand in the mirror and just say to yourself, I love you, I love you, I love you for 2 minutes, it will shift your energy. It will shift the feeling in your body. And 2 minutes is magic. You can say a lot in 2 minutes. You can do a lot in 2 minutes. You can change a lot in 2 minutes. And so I would love to hear from you if this resonates with you, if you're going to try some of these things. If you have enjoyed today's ramble, give me a thumbs up. If you think it can help someone else, please feel free to share. If you want to hear and learn more as we go on, subscribe to the channel and you'll get notifications when I'm live on Mondays. And my intention is always to be, has been to be here at 11 a.m. And 2 weeks in a row now, I've had technical snafus. And so I've been a bit later. So I think sometime between 11 and 11:30 on Mondays, I'll be here. My goal is for 11 a.m. So as there's always a bit of a learning curve when we start to do new things. And this is the other thing with 2 minutes. Allow yourself 2 minutes of grace and um, just oh my goodness, my thought dropped right out of my head. This is another thing that happens with the rambles. Um, but 2 minutes, giving yourself that grace to connect with your body in all these different ways, connecting with your emotions through forgiveness, gratitude, or mirror work practices, 2 minutes of pacing when it comes to managing your energy, connecting with your body, and still getting the things done. You can get a lot done in 2 minutes, more than you probably think if you've never done this before. Same as you can say a lot in 2 minutes, probably a whole lot more than you realize, again, if you've never done this. So I invite you to embrace the magic that is in 2 minutes. Use timers and understand that the small changes that you're making today, the small steps that you make today, will change your body, will change your path, will change your future, right? I remember laying in bed and wishing and dreaming of a future where I didn't live in chronic pain, where I was able to work, where I was able to do all the things that I want to do without being in pain. And 2 minutes was where it all started, using the TV commercials as a timer to do 2 minutes of whatever, whether it was dishes, whether it was sweeping the floor, whether it was getting laundry together. And just doing the 2 minutes consistently over time. It doesn't feel like it makes a difference from day to day. The key is to keep doing it. The key is to keep taking those 2 minutes as many times as you can throughout the day. in all the different ways and continuing on with them. And then all of a sudden, when 6 months has gone by, you're going to look back and go, holy crap, that 2 minutes, starting with that 2 minutes, changed everything. Things are so different today than they were 6 months ago. Things are so different today than they were a year ago. Things are so different today than they were 5 years ago. I have built so much strength and resilience. You know, you'll be able to say this to yourself. I can't believe how far I've come, and I can't believe it all started with just 2 minutes. So much magic in 2 minutes. And not complicating things, right? Not expecting the instant gratification, and understanding that 2 minutes is going to make a difference as long as you keep doing it. That's the key. It's the discipline, it's the consistency that changes everything. And breaking it down into small bites is what makes it easy to be consistent, right? Because we're not pushing ourselves. We're not trying to do everything all at once. We're giving ourselves the grace of small bites, and knowing that in the future that 2 minutes is going to make everything look very different. You know, like if you were to time travel back 10 years and start with the 2 minutes, and then come back into your future, you know, come back to that present 10 years later, it would be different. It would be very, very different. And you can start today. It doesn't matter if you're 30. It doesn't matter if you're 60. It doesn't matter if you're 70. If you start with these 2 minutes and all these different ways, and keep up with it and keep doing it, and just allowing the 2 minutes to do its work, allowing yourself to build that strength and resilience a little step at a time, one step at a time, it will change your life. It has absolutely changed mine. Those wishes and dreams that I had lying in bed 10 years ago have materialized, and in ways that are better than I even dreamed of. So 2 minutes, the magic of 2 minutes. I hope all of this makes sense. I would love to hear from you. You can join me on my Facebook page. I am Krista Marie, the Witch on Widow Point there. It's at the Witch on Widow Point on Instagram. And my website is kristamarie.ca. I'm going to update this with some of the links in the bottom. I didn't want to take the time to do that before hopping on here because I already felt late. And so I'm go back and update that for you so that it's easy to find me. I'm easy to find. And I would love to hear from you if all this makes sense, if it resonates, if you're going to give any of these 2 minute practices a try, whether it's the pacing, the timers, the magic footsteps. I love the magic footsteps. I do this on my walks with the boys. As I'm leaving the cottage, the first 2 minutes of the walk are the thank you footsteps, and they're magic. They will lift your mood in a way you can't even imagine until you do it. There's the 2 minutes of forgiveness, 2 minutes of gratitude, 2 minutes of mirror work, talking to yourself like you would a trusted and best friend, and understanding a lot can change in 2 minutes. A lot can happen in 2 minutes. A lot can be said in 2 minutes. And using the magic in that 2 minutes will change your future. It will change your life. It's those small little things, like I said, in the books and the movies on time travel, they're always so concerned about small things making a big difference. But we tend to dismiss the small things in our presence because we don't think they will make a difference. And they do. They absolutely do. 2 minutes changes everything. So I hope this all makes sense. Give me a like, give me a share, subscribe if you want to hear more. And I hope to see you next Monday. I'll be posting on my Facebook page our topic for next week, and I hope to see you. I'm sending you so, so much love and bright blessings, and I hope you have a beautiful Monday and a beautiful week, and I hope you lean into the magic of 2 minutes. So I will see you in a week. Take care.